Hey everybody, I'm going to retry this again. I'll do it with some more sensitivity for the people who this subject matter is going to bother them. That's not my intent. While in the process of creating my part 3 of my video, because I was dealing with ancient serpent races, possibly. Of course, I'm not saying that there's either 100% proof positive that there even is one. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that my research is showing me that the likelihood and probability is extremely high. So I had to go and research Rh negative blood types. Okay? Because from what science is telling me, and it's telling all of us, this is coming from science, it's not coming from me to you. Science is stating this, and now I went to a couple different websites, and I'm just going with one that actually fits here for my presentation here. Famous left-handers. Why are many presidents left-handed? Now, when I went through all of these different websites, that's what led me back to The Economist magazine, and I'll get to that. Famous Rh negative facts. Rh negatives make up only 7% of the U.S. population out of 15% worldwide. Okay? There's only 15% worldwide. 7 of that percent is right here in the United States. Higher mental analytical abilities, hypervision, ESP, high sensitivity, keen sight or hearing, love of space and science. As a matter of fact, you know what else is really interesting? Truth seekers. Yeah. Interesting. I'm a Rh negative. I'm a truth seeker. Psychic dreams, desire for higher wisdom. Yes, isn't that strange? Higher wisdom. And look at this. Did you know that every U.S. president since Eisenhower has been Rh negative and left-handed? Okay, here is my point. There are other websites that I was looking at that all of the monarchs over in Europe, this one here, my passionate, all of them have been Rh negative, right? Barack Obama is AB negative, while only less than 0.09 of people of African descent being Rh negative. So we've had a president from Eisenhower all the way to Obama that has been Rh negative. How is that even possible out of a population of 15% in the whole world? That means that they have been hand-picked. That's the only explanation. They have been hand-picked to be our president, or the people that they are putting in there to be running for president are in fact Rh negatives. So what is it about Rh negative that makes them so special? Well, like I said, interestingly enough, science is telling us that most of the population, that other 85%, are comprised of people who stem from rhesus monkeys. That's what they're telling us. Okay. Now, in all of my studies, and I've done a lot of studying because I do like archaeology, paleontology, anthropology, the study of mankind, social studies of the development of the human being, right? And what I found interesting in my research is that when I look all the way starting back from Cro-Magnon, Neanderthals, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo crepensis, all of these different races of the human progression, they really didn't overlap with each other. Doesn't anybody find that strange? Doesn't that seem like that would be like some kind of outside force was helping the progression of mankind? How could you go from Homo habilis to Homo erectus but not overlap? That means that that Homo habilis had to have ended immediately and then the beginning of Homo erectus. Why weren't they both on the planet at the same time? We happen to still have rhesus monkeys here. So how is it that we have this blood type that associates 85% of the population with rhesus monkeys? How is it that science will tell you that a meteor had destroyed the dinosaurs, but yet in the same breath tell you that birds come from dinosaurs? The hollow bone theory, you know about that, right? Of course. So how is that possible? If all the dinosaurs were destroyed, then how are the birds some kind of offshoot of dinosaurs, right? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, let me tell you something. I guarantee you, if you go back and watch the Transformer movie series, I know, sounds crazy, doesn't it? As a matter of fact, they're telling you all kinds of stuff right there in the movie if you just bother to pay attention and watch it. They're telling you that there was an alien race that was here that wiped out the dinosaurs. Isn't it interesting that a pyramid that they're saying is 65 million years old has just been discovered in Crimea, and that pyramid dates back from the time of the dinosaurs? So what did they do? Was there possibly some entities that arrived on our planet from somewhere at that time and took out the dinosaurs to make the planet habitable, not only for themselves, but also for their experiments with the creation of mankind? It's possible. If I look at the Sumerian tablets and quite a few other tablets that from different locations, I'm talking about Canaanite, Akkadian, Babylonian, Assyrian. If you look at, they all mention the Sumerians by name or by their tablets. And the Sumerians will tell you exactly where they believe that the creation of man came from. That's right, extraterrestrial gods. And they just happen to be serpentine or serpents. I know, is that a bad thing? It may depend on if there are other serpent races out there that are actually, or I should say reptilian. Let's say reptilian. Reptilian doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing if you are Rh negative and that's what it's associated with, right? Here's my thing. All of these people that are in power right now are taking all of their countries down the shitter. Yes or no? Obama appears to be taking this country right down the shitter. Rh negative. Is he being manipulated because he is Rh negative? Does that mean that he's not really reptilian of some sort? Or that the powers that be know that he is Rh negative and they know of techniques to mind manipulate individuals who have Rh negative blood types? Rh negative means that they don't find that you have any kind of link to the rhesus monkey whatsoever. How is that possible? If mankind, according to the Sumerian tablets, was started off of a being that was already here on the planet, that's what they say. Was it the rhesus monkey? Possible. Was it the macaque? I do believe they're related to the rhesus monkeys. It is possible. Anything is possible. I won't dismiss anything. I wasn't there. I won't dismiss anything without looking at the facts. Like I won't get into the flat earth theory stuff here, and that's beyond the scope here. So why is it? That's my question. Why is all of the people that are in power and authority, why are they Rh negative blood types? Why are they being handpicked to be in a position of power in the United States presidency? How is that even possible that Rh negative blood types are the only ones that have been president from Eisenhower? That's 1954, people. 1954. That's 50 freaking 1 years worth of presidents that have been Rh negative. You're telling me with another 85% of the world's population being Rh positive that it's just a freaking coincidence? Come on now. Wake up and smell the coffee. There is something special about Rh negative blood. I'm not saying that RH positives are, I'm not saying that they're, beneath me because I happen to be RH negative and left-handed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the powers that be, the cabal, the whoever you want to call them, they seem to think that there's something special about RH negative to put them into a power of authority. Now, considering that I was reading all this stuff about the presidents, I was going, wait a minute. Hey, why were all the people in authority or a position of power on the Economist magazine, why were they in a darker complexion in the cover? So this is what I did. I started looking at it here, and let me show you just a second. Okay. All of these people in a position of power here: Churchill, Cameron, dude from India, China, God, I can't remember her name, and Angela Merkel, dim twit over here from Benghazi scandal, and then we have this guy here. Now they all, what I will dub right now, I will call it the photo negative. That's what I'll call it, photo negative. Okay. So I was looking at it, I was going, is that what they're trying to tell us in this cover? So how am I going to go set out to prove that that's what they're trying to tell us? Well, right here, I was looking at this panda right here, and because I'm studying on positive and negatives, I was going, well, wait a minute. This battery, what is this battery doing here with a positive and negative with the red and white for the symbol of the American Red Cross, which has to do with blood? Right? And this is what I came up with. This guy right here, Han Bing, a panda blood donator, a panda blood. In China, it just so happens that they call RH negative blood types, because it's so rare, they call it the RH negative blood, and they call it the panda blood type, right? Now, the other thing that led me to believe that, from what I was reading, is that all of the presidents and a lot of the people that are in a position of power in Europe claim that they can trace their bloodline back to the Tudor family. And isn't that, what's her name is the Windsor family, right? And now we have the Tudor family. And I do believe that this picture right here happens to be a Tudor female. It just so happens right here that if you look at these pictures here, you got Margaret Tudor, Mary Tudor, all the way down the line, that gave birth all the way down the line to all of these royalty. In the Sumerian tablets, which is interesting, they were all about staying in close family, marriages, royal blood, if you will. Just like why is it that the Europeans are doing that? What makes them want to marry royal blood, just like the Sumerians were doing, right? That was another thing that made me think that this could be an association with some kind of serpentine issue. I don't know. It's possible, right? So that's where I got the pictures from right here, and the whole story. So is there anyone else with this line of blood, or is it just the royals with RH negative? You will be surprised to know that there are a lot of famous people who publicly tell their blood type. And they have the famous list right here. And I will leave links in here. You can check out some of the people who claim to have the RH negative. Now, just because you have it doesn't mean that, all of a sudden you're going to be, spitting your tongue out of your mouth like a lizard or some weird garbage like that. That's not the case. It may even be possible that we have some kind of dormant, let me show you something. Let me show you guys something. Now, you guys were saying there's no way that people could be coming from rhesus monkeys, right? Well, explain to me how there are some people that are born with these, what they call caudal tails. And these appear to be some kind of tails right here off the end of their, the coccyx, is that what it's called? Or the caudal bone or something? And there are even instances where people have a horn growing out of their head. Where does it come from? Where does this type of stuff come from? And this is not an unusual phenomenon with this caudal bone, as you'll see. All you have to do is come check that out. But I thought I'd share that with you, and thanks everybody.